500 grams of pork, ground pork, 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, garlic, onion, lemon, brown sugar, oregano, ground cumin, Italian seasoning, paprika, rock salt, black pepper, and some baby potatoes, 100 grams. So here are the ingredients that you'll need. I put them with the measurements. Okay, so we're starting with the flour. We're just gonna mix it with the ground pork. So the liquid from the ground pork doesn't leak out, so it stays, and then it makes it also stick together. Some salt, some pepper, some paprika, some oregano, Italian seasoning, ground cumin. Now I put sugar because we're a Filipino family, so we love sweet, but you don't have to if you don't want to. Now we're just gonna mix it together. Okay, if you don't want your meatballs to crumble, you can mix them as much as you want, but if you want them like soft and crumbly, then don't mix it as much. So let's go ahead and peel off the onion. Okay, always have a bowl for your trash so that you're always organized. Okay, so we're gonna slice them horizontally, as thin as possible again. And then we're gonna start dicing it, really small dices, because we're gonna cook this through later on, and then we're gonna mix it in with our meatball mixture. Okay, just cutting off the bits that I can. I'm only leaving that amount. Okay, so let's put that aside. Okay, so we're starting with the garlic. I'm taking about three cloves of garlic here. We're just gonna mash it up. Try to open those pods, get all that skin out. Start chopping. We're also gonna mince this because we're gonna mix it with the onions, and then we're gonna caramelize them and then mix them in with the meatballs as well. Okay, so just finishing up here. Make sure they're pretty minced. Okay. Alright, now we start with the baby potatoes. So I'm just gonna chop them in half. Now I didn't boil them, but you can boil them if you want to. If you want them to be soft in the inside, cooked all the way through. I didn't, because I wanted mine a bit crunchy, because my meatballs were gonna be soft. So I wanted that difference in texture. So we're adding some salt, oil, and oregano, and some black pepper. And that's it. Just mix them through. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and heat up our pan for our potatoes first. Oil. Make sure your pan is hot so that you get a good sear on that potatoes. Alright, so we're just gonna flip them over. I'm gonna do skin side up first. See, there's a good browning on the inside of the potato. That's what you want. Squeeze some lemon. You don't have to put lemon if you don't want to. I like my potatoes with some lemon. Okay, now we're just gonna put them on a plate and set them aside. Alright, so I cooked that for about 5 minutes. Okay, so we're doing the meatballs now. Just gonna roll them up to about a 2-inch diameter. You can weigh them if you want to. I don't, because I usually already know like what size I want. So yeah. Those are about 40 grams per meatball. Okay, so we're gonna set them aside, put them in the freezer for about 30 minutes. They should be ready. They should hold their form by that time. Okay, now we're gonna sear them. Okay, so this first stage, we're just gonna sear them on one side. And you can see as we go along with this, with cooking our meatballs, at around 3 minutes, you can see the sides of the meatballs start to whiten up. So you know that your meatballs are starting to cook through. See, right there. You can see they're a bit more pale now. Okay. So if you don't want them that dark, you can cook them for less time. I like mine with a good crust, so they're not burnt. Right, so I'm just gonna start searing them on the sides as well. So this process takes about 15 minutes, depending on the size of your meatballs. Now we're just gonna put them aside, try to plate them up first. You also want to give these guys a rest so that the juices can settle inside. Alright. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna try to make some gravy. So you do that by mixing some water with the residue from the meatballs. Stir them around. Get them to a boil. So I'm putting some soy sauce here, about a tablespoon, and I'm putting some sugar again, some black pepper, some Italian seasoning. Okay, so I'm just gonna let that boil. I made some slurry here, so that's gonna thicken my sauce right there. So slurry is a mixture of the cornstarch and some water. I'm putting about 5 teaspoons. Which should be enough to thicken my sauce. I'm putting some butter so that it can have that shiny, glistening texture. And some cheese, because who doesn't like cheese in the gravy? Okay, so I'm just gonna let that cook through. Some lemon again. Okay, so we're gonna pour over the gravy. Look how shiny. So I plated it with the potatoes. Now it's time to eat. Okay. So my son thinks things that have spices are spicy. It's actually pretty sweet because I put a lot of sugar in the gravy.
You need water?
No, thank you. You want to eat this for lunch?
No, thank you. I'm back.
So the meatballs itself is very
Little bit spicy.
well, I put some cumin, paprika, oregano, and some Italian seasoning. But overall, it's very citrusy. So I put some lemon zest and some lemon juice. The meatballs themselves have a good crust, but have a soft interior. The gravy gives a good balance to it. I'd give myself a 7. But yeah, overall I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. When you go, you want to say goodbye to them now?
Subscribe your food by Bobby. Click the comments and click the like. And then, goodbye.
Wait, goodbye.
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 Boy.